What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to YGOPD, You Get Professional Development, and we are back. Sorry about that. There's been a lot of crazy life things happening. If you know me personally, you know it's like what's going on, but all really great and cool things that will hopefully lead to a lot of really big changes here in the next maybe month or so. So really, really cool, but has taken a lot of my time and taken some space away from, the recording setup and area I have to do some of this stuff. So things are a little sporadic, but I think I'm kind of gotten things situated and am back into it. So today I have a really unique Fire King deck. This is Fire King with Snake Eye and Horus and some other cool synchro stuff thrown in. What I've been messing with, everyone's been trying to find a way to play Fire Kings pre-Bonfire, pre-Phantom Nightmare, and this is mine. I do not have Bonfires yet. They are in the works of getting taken care of, just like I'm sure everyone else is, either gambling on trying to win out of pulling boxes or biting the bullet and paying 100 plus for singles. So either way, this is the deck. I want to get into it, talk a little bit about it, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so for the main deck here, trying to get, it's been a while since I've even messed with this, and so I want to make sure things are in frame. So 3 Ponyx, this is kind of the main starter. This is the way you're typically going to do things, make your plays happen, all that good stuff, as I just dropped everything everywhere, and now it's just out of order, but it's whatever. So 3 Ponyx is your primary starter, and then after that, we are on, of course, 3 Kirin. One of the best cards that there is, lets you dodge kind of targeting effects, different things like that. Really, really powerful card, helps you get disruption, gets your Xyz plays online, all that kind of good stuff. And then I'm just on 1 Garunix. I know eventually the correct call is going to be multiple, right, for DD Crow, Bell, Soul Release, all that kind of stuff is making its way into the format, but just not yet. And for some reason, my luck is not great with this deck. I brick on it a lot. I just, Fire King has not been like the best thing for me, but for now, this is kind of the ratio that I've landed on. And so then after that, we are on the 1 Sanctuary and the 1 Island, and that's it. No Barong, no Arvata. You can add those. I have a couple spaces later on in the deck that I'll call out if you want to put those in. But again, I got sick of opening too many things without enough ways to pop and do stuff with it. So this was the ratio I felt was good, and I prefer kind of the Sunlight Wolf line, right, to add back Kirin as opposed to Barong and waiting a turn and then getting it. So you can get away without a Barong, I think, in that case, unless you're actually playing the quick play pop, which I think eventually is correct. I just think right now the consistency of the deck is not great, so you want to just max out on the cards that do the most without really getting into having too many bricks going on. So after that, we are on the Sinful Spoils package. I think this will be a needed staple in the coming future. Unless you're playing Tri-Brigade, you can probably get away with it if you're doing something like that. But I'm actually maxing out here. I'm on 3 Wanted, 3 Witch, and then 1 of the original. I just think this is such a powerful engine, especially with Snake Eye. It just gives so much diversity to your deck and to your lines that if you already hard open either Ponyx or Ash or anything like that, you can just do so much with the deck. So speaking of that, we're on the minimal package here. I have a pure Snake Eye version I'm going to do once Bonfire and Phantom Nightmares and all that really kind of hit my possession. But for now, 1-in-1 is good. It just raises the ceiling of the deck immensely. If you already have this stuff and you don't have like the Wanted package, I still think it's even worth to play 1-in-1 for now. It does raise the ceiling of your deck quite a bit. You could even just pay for a couple originals. I talked about that in my 2-minute tech video. It's just a way to really get things rolling without having to worry about paying the full, $300+ price tag. You could get away with a couple of these and then just make some use of it that way. And then the Horus engine, this engine is so good, and it's just getting better and better as time goes on. I think people have realized that, but we are on 3 Mseti, 1 Happy, and then I believe just 2 of the King Sark. The way I'm mainly using this is for the Photon Lord, sometimes Zombie Vampire, depending on your build, but this is kind of the way to go. You could play multiple Horus names even more and just put pressure that way, but for now, this is just a way to kind of insulate your board. I think Mseti is probably one of the best cards moving forward just because it helps play through Droll, because even if they Droll you on resolution, you still have a card to pitch. You can at least get 2 bodies on board that they have to contend with, as well as a few other things that you could have options to you for, Xyz plays. So that's the Horus package. And then where things get like a little bit different is I'm actually main decking 3 Assault Synchron. There's so much potential in this card. I kind of wished I discovered this a little bit more back when I was playing Rescue Ace pre I don't even remember. It wasn't even prevent or emergency, but there was just like that pre kind of rescue ace where it wasn't as consistent pre sinful spoils, right? This fixes a lot of problems for that deck, and also fixes a lot of problems for this deck that I'll get into. That if you have a few bucks, you might be able to use and and even prefer this, and maybe even for a pure Snake Eye deck, this is something that you might want to consider. I'll talk about all the options you can go to in the extra deck, but there's a lot of really important things you can do with this card that I think is really, really cool. But rounding out the deck, we're kind of transitioning into non-engine. So we have 2 Fenrir and 2 Talents. 2 Talents are the slots, even Fenrir if you want, but Talents specifically, I think is the slot that you can just cut for if you want the one Arvata and the one Barong, or a combination of one of those two, plus like the Skyburn spell to do some pops. I think you could cut those. I think this is not really needed. I just had a few extra spare slots, and Talents felt like the cleanest there. Any deck I play Mseti in, I feel like I should be playing at least 2 to 3 Talents is kind of my logic with that for now, but not always the case. But yeah, and then rounding out the deck, I think we're at 40 here. Hand traps are just the standard 3 right now. 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, and then just 3 Droll. I think that's pretty straightforward. This deck has so much gas between Fire King, Horus, Snake Eye, and the Assault Synchron lines, plus just having room for 9 hand traps, plus another 4 non-engine between Fenrir and Talents, or whatever you want them to be. It's insane. Like, this deck just does so much right now. It's going to be even crazier right when all the Snake Eye stuff comes out to full power. But that's it for the main deck, and then I'll just talk a little bit about the extra deck. So I'm going to start with my links and then work my way down, starting with the big boy. Of course, 1 access code to close out games. For 3s, we do have the 1 Heat Soul. There we go. The 1 Unicorn. For our 3s, I think these are all pretty standard. Again, this is probably the way that people are going for now, and maybe even a little bit post Phantom Nightmare is just Sunlight Wolf into Heat Soul with potentially IP under it as well is just really, really good. And then for the 2s, we have 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Hida, 1 Sunlight Wolf, 1 SP, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for our 2s. Not much to really be said here. This is all pretty straightforward, I think. These are all really great utility cards. This is a deck, I think, that you can get away with 1 SP. I say that after people are going to vomit, seeing Horus plus Sinful Spoils plus everything else in this deck. But yeah, I mean, SP is great. If you have it, there's no reason not to play it. If you don't, it's not the end of the world to still go for Heat Soul IP. It's still a really strong line for the deck. And then for the 1s, just 1 Link Karibo to round out the links. Pretty straightforward here. This is the most utility. You could play Anima if you really, really want, but I think Link Karibo is also fine. For the Exceeds, 1 Photon Lord, shout out to this, hopefully getting reprinted soon, finally. And then 1 Zombie Vampire. These are the main ways I use the Horus engine. This, ironically, has come up just enough where I decided to keep it in to when you have awkward hands or you just want to get a specific extender, you can just do it that way. Same thing, Photon Lord is the main one you go into just to help insulate your plays. And then the rest of the extra deck is dedicated to the Assault Synchron stuff. So I'll talk about that. So 1 Ashura King, make sure that's visible. I'll talk about this in a second. And then we're playing 3 Goyo Defender and 1 Baron. So this is the Excel Synchro package. So the, Excel Synchro, geez, Assault Synchron, sorry, is just a level 2 tuner. And you can pair it with anything. Obviously, for this deck, right, pairing it with any of the Horus stuff is what gets you to a Baron for your 10s. Same thing with Kieran. Kieran also being an 8, Garunix also being an 8, are a couple different ways you can get to your Synchro 10 plays. Obviously, in Rescue Ace, that plus Preventer is really, really good too. And the other way you utilize this is with your level 1s. So either Ash and or Ponix. Ponix being the main one. Also in Rescue Ace, right? Right now, there's kind of a weird span of the decks where sometimes you just open this in like nothing else and you get hand trapped by that and you're just forced to pass. I wanted an extender that helped with that, and Assault Synchron really did. So this essentially is, you know, free summon. You take the 700 for Assault Synchron, you get rid of those 2, and you make a Goyo Defender. If you've never read this card, it's a non-hard once per turn, regular once per copy, I guess. So you can use them as many as you have them, right? But basically, a Goyo Defender is if all you control are Earth Warriors, so you have to have just itself basically on the board. You can get out another one for free. And then that one can also get out another one for free. And then you could do whatever you want with these. You can make IP and pass, and you have a material to go into SP. You can make SP, you could do whatever. Or you could just overlay all 3 into Asherit King, which takes 3 materials. If you're not familiar with Asherit King, it's like Apollousa. It detaches 1, but it's anywhere a monster effect is activated, you negate that and destroy the card. And it's 2100. So sometimes in a weird hand, just having 3 negate and destroys for monster effects is good enough. And I've noticed that too a lot in Rescue Ace, and it's really, really powerful too for that deck as well. So if you've not really tested this or are looking for some kind of unique engine to try, Baron's obviously a cheaper reprint, you know, instead of paying, you know, $100 for Bonfire, or you realize that'll never be feasible. Maybe this is a route you want to go where you pay something like, you know, maybe closer to 30 to 50 bucks, depending on how much Assault Synchrons will settle at, plus a couple other odds and ends, you know, might do you really good. So that's what I've had a lot of fun with. I think it's really, really cool. So that's it. That's the main deck. That's the extra deck. That is Fire King, Horus, Synchro, Snake Eye, pile of a deck, all still condensed at 40 cards. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.